Today I'm going to use the discard from the last video to actually make bread. Before we get started, let's go ahead and grease our bowl that we're going to use. I'll use this big bowl. You can use any kind of big bowl you want to, but this is a pottery bowl that I got and it works perfectly. So I have got my olive oil in here, and all I'm doing is greasing the sides, the bottom, all of the bowl, because you don't want your bread to stick. Yep. So I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to get my stand mixer bowl. And that's what I'm going to start putting my ingredients in. Before we get started, I want to go through all the ingredients that you're going to need. You will need 6 cups of bread flour. You're going to need 1/4 of a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of salt, 1/2 of a cup of oil. Now, I do want to say something. I've used avocado oil, I've used olive oil, and I've used coconut oil, and all of those work great. I do not use vegetable oil, however. After the oil, I will use my cup of starter discard that I had from when I fed the starter. And then I have 1.5 cups of warm water. All right, so something that I have learned over the years of making this is you layer your ingredients. I always start with a wet ingredient first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put in my oil. And the reason that you wanna do that, so that when you start mixing, your flour doesn't fly all over the place, because I make messes. Okay, I'm gonna put in my sugar, 1/4 of a cup, not too much. And then I have a tablespoon of salt. And I'm gonna start putting in my flour. It's a lot of flour. Now I'm going to put my warm water. You can do hot water if you want to. And then I'm going to put my starter in. And again, it doesn't matter the order you put it. It's just what I came to first, but I do put wet, then dry, then wet again. And an important step is to use a dough hook. You don't want to use the whisk or a paddle. You want to use that dough hook. Okay, and lock it in place. And you just start mixing. Getting big. Okay. And you get to play with it a little bit. So this is what it looks like right now, and I'm just going to turn it around with my hands a little bit. Make a ball. Okay, and this is what it should look like. And then that bowl that I greased before we got started, I'm just going to put it in here. And again, I'm going to turn it around so that the oil that I use to grease my bowl is coated with, or the bread is coated with that. And voila, So I'm gonna get a tea towel and I'm gonna cover the bowl. And I'm gonna sit it on my counter. It can be in a sunlit area or somewhere warm, maybe near your oven if you're cooking that day. And I'm gonna keep it covered for probably 8 hours to let it do the first rise. After it does the first rise, then you'll punch it down and knead it again. So we will set this to the side and come back in 8 hours. Okay, it's been after 8 hours. Let's see what the bread looks like after the first rise. All right, so now we're just gonna punch it down and move it around in the bowl a little bit to get back into your ball. Okay, I'm gonna spread a little bit of flour out on my surface. And I'm just gonna knead it just a little bit. I don't like to touch it just too much. And I'm gonna make 2 loaves of bread with mine today, but you could probably get 3 loaves out of it. Okay, I'm gonna use my pastry cutter. I'm gonna fold it into each other and put it in my pan. Now prior to putting it in the pan, you'll need to grease your pans, and I have already done that. So we're ready. And then now you'll cover it with a tea towel again and let it rise for about 8 more hours. Okay, it's been 8 hours and they are ready to bake on 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And there we go, fresh baked sourdough.